Category number 2 would be the nutritive tonics. This is a common one you'll see amongst your Materia Medica books. Nutritive tonics, right? Now, this one makes a bit of sense if we are approaching it with our very vague, general nebulous definition of tonics, and that it enhances vigor and well-being. Well, nutritive. You supply the body with more nutrients that it needs to function properly. You will generally feel healthier, right? Sometimes it's a subtle difference in feeling. Sometimes if you're really deficient in something though, and you, become replete in that nutrient, you'll notice a difference. If you're deficient in magnesium and you're walking around and you got little eye twitches and a muscle twitch here, and you have a hard time sleeping at night, and maybe you tend to be a little spasmodic, right? You tend to be hypertonic, right? More of a tension type tissue state as opposed to the relaxation tissue state I was just talking about. If you're depleted in magnesium and you become replete in magnesium, you're going to feel a heck of a lot better. You're going to feel way, way better but you're going to feel more vital. You're typically going to feel more energy too, because magnesium is an essential part of the TCA cycle or Krebs cycle, that being manufacturing of cellular energy in the form of ATP. So the nutritive tonics. So these are herbs that dwell on that edge between herbal medicine and food. Some of these are really, in a way, food herbs, but oftentimes these are nutritive tonic in that they usually are very rich in minerals. Some of them will have a lot of vitamins, but it's usually minerals and trace elements is what we find most predominant in the herbs that are typically classified as being nutritive tonics. So a really cool lesson that I learned, again, from Paul Bergner, one of my teachers in herbal medicine, was this analogy of the alphabet. And I really like this analogy. It made a lot of sense. And so I use it a lot. Thank you again to you, Mr. Bergner. I'll forever be tipping my hat to you because you're very influential. So if you guys are not familiar with the work of Paul Bergner, I highly encourage you to check out his materials, particularly his home study programs, audio courses, just really good stuff. But so Paul gives us an analogy of that our biochemistry is it's like an alphabet, right? And all of those little nutrients, all those little trace elements, those minerals, those amino acids, they all are letters in an alphabet. And our biochemical processes in our body are like a language. And when all the letters of the alphabet are present, everything hums along very nicely. All of our biochemistry works properly, and the language of the body can express itself. Now, say you are missing the letter A and the letter E and the letter O, like 3 primary vowels of the English language. It's going to be really, really hard for you to speak the English language or write the English language without those 3 vowels. It's very similarly true to our biochemistry and our nutritional status. If we are missing specific nutrients, some of which you don't really need that much of, right? Think copper or boron or, right, these trace elements. You don't need a lot of them, but you need them. And if you don't have them, something can go wrong. And so the nutritive tonics are really seen as filling in those micronutrient deficiencies. Obviously, they're not going to be providing macronutrients like fat, carbohydrate, and protein. That's what food is for. The nutritive tonics are those that fill in the nutrient gaps that we may not be getting from our diet. Now, this is really important because, modern food is really deficient. If you look at the numbers of nutrients in food today at the recording of this in 2025, you compare that to the nutrient status of food, half a century ago, it's like just tanking, right? And this has everything to do really with conventional farming practices, monoculture, and the way that food is grown on the industrial scale just tends to strip nutrients out of the soil. And this is how, the plains of the Midwest have been completely stripped of the topsoil, and, become pretty darn barren. So nutritional status of the soil goes down, nutritional status of the plants goes down, nutritional status of the people go down, health, vitality, and vigor go down. So the nutritive tonics are tonic in the sense that they are increasing the nutritional status of the person, which will enable the biochemical processes of the body to function better, which will generally increase your well-being, right? We need to be optimally nourished to be healthy. This is like health 101, eat good food, optimally nourish yourself. Your body needs nutrients to function well. Make sure you're providing it with those nutrients, because a lot of those nutrients must be brought in from exogenous sources. Now, one of the interesting things that I noticed when studying the nutritive tonic materia medica is that most, not all, but most of herbs classified as nutritive tonic are also mildly astringent. And I started noticing this theme. I was like, wait a minute, all these herbs that are nutritive, really mineral rich, also have a degree of astringency to them. And so it's like the tonic part, I was like, well, maybe the tonic part is referring to it's like actually two in one. It's nutritive tonic. One part it's nutritive. The other part is it's tonifying. It's a little bit astringent. But I also think if we consider, again, that definition of tonic of just kind of enhancing general well-being, if you're increasing nutritional status and helping someone become more replete, they're going to just feel better. So nutritive tonics, category number 2. Some good examples would be alfalfa, medicago sativum, oat straw. That would be Vina sativa. That's the straw of oats or the oat grass. The milky seed head typically is similar here in that it's nutritive and mineral rich. Now, just a little side note here about milky oats. Milky oat seed, when tinctured fresh, is like a whole other remedy. That is your nerve tropho-restorative par excellence, right? It's like the best, most amazing remedy to replenish, nourish, strengthen, revitalize the nervous system is the milky oat seed. But dried milky oat, I mention this because I see this all the time of people putting dried milky oat seed in tea blends and then saying it's going to be really good for the nervous system. It's not. It's going to be a great mineral-rich herb, but once that milky white latex in milky oat seed dries out, it loses a lot of that nervous system tropho-restorative effect. So just a little side note there. Raspberry leaf, of course, classic. Rubus idaeus. Nettle leaf, pretty important one there. Urtica dioica, and horsetail Equisetum arvens. These are all super mineral rich, and pretty much all of those are mildly astringent. I would say oat straw maybe is not particularly astringent. I find alfalfa to be maybe a little bit astringent. Raspberry leaf, nettle leaf, horsetail, definitely astringent. And I'll just mention too, the nutritional status of herbs is also going to really depend on where they're grown, the nature of the soil where they're grown. So you're going to see a lot of variants of this. Like these are kind of your staple nutritive herbs, but in all honesty, all herbs have a degree of minerals in them, right? This is apparent as for me as a spagyricist. When we're preparing herbs in the lab and burning them and seeing all the alkali mineral salts, it's like, well, there's all the minerals. Like, yeah, that's a lot of minerals. It's clear all herbs have a lot of minerals. Most of them are potassium salts, but you get lots of different other forms of minerals in plants and trace elements. So that's category 2, nutritive tonics.